Let's now move on to WION's continuous coverage of the conflict and clashes in Israel-Palestine. Palestinians have now pushed the idea of a third UN Security Council meeting in less than a week. Consequently, the UN Security Council will now hold a new meeting on the Israel-Palestine clashes on Friday. The public session would include participation by Israel and the Palestinians. The emergency UN Security Council meeting has been requested by Tunisia, Norway and China amid the worsening hostilities between Israel and Palestinians. Israel has requested and refused to allow the Security Council to get involved in the conflict. Washington has so far agreed to the demand. The Council has already held 2 closed-door video conferences this week with the US, which has opposed the adoption of a joint declaration, which the US said would not help in de-escalating the situation. Calling for de-escalation between Israel and the Palestinians, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has called for an urgent meeting of the Middle East diplomatic quartet. Lavrov was speaking at a joint briefing alongside United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres after talks in Moscow. He said that a meeting of 4 international mediators, that is, Russia, the United States, the UN and the EU, for resolving the intensifying conflict is now urgently required. He also added that the meeting should be presented by the top diplomats of the 4 parties to the group, which was established in Madrid in 2002.
Произошли вот события последних дней, они еще, к сожалению, продолжаются, гибнут люди с обеих сторон, опять продолжаются односторонние действия, избегать которых призывал неоднократно Совет Безопасности и квартет международных посредников. Мы сегодня, по-моему, так пришли к общему мнению, что наиболее острой задачей является созыв квартета международных посредников России, Соединенные Штаты, ООН и Евросоюз.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres repeated his urging for an end to the violence. He said that the UN is totally committed to revitalizing the work of the quartet. Members of the UN Security Council have also urged both sides in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to exercise restraint and responsibility, while it also stood by the belief that both the Israelis and Palestinians have the right to live in safety and security.
The large numbers of civilian casualties, including children, from Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and of Israeli fatalities from rockets launched from Gaza, are both worrying and unacceptable. While we recognize Israel's right to self-defense against such attacks, we call for the Israeli security forces to exercise maximum restraint in order to protect civilians in line with international humanitarian law. We call on Israel to cease settlement activities, demolitions and evictions, including in East Jerusalem, in line with its obligations under international humanitarian law.
Israel pounded 3 multi-story towers as it hammered the Gaza Strip with airstrikes, killing a string of senior Hamas military figures. Militants in the Gaza territory fired rocket barrages. Dozens have died in the worst violent scene since a 2014 war, with no resolution in sight as of now. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.